in the last breath of a desperate escape that had nearly consumed their last vestiges of hope, I find myself standing on the threshold of a new dawn. Aetheria's radiant, luminescent glow, a starkly contrasting balm to the dark memories etched on my mind. The promise of new eras can be a powerful elixir, a respite from the exhaustion and fatigue that clinging to our resolve takes. As I look around, I see the scars on my companions' faces, on their resolve. A sense of optimism starts to take hold, like a spark kindling. As we take our first steps into Aetheria, I feel a sense of lightness, as if the familiar contours, the topography of the city unfold on the horizon like a map with lines etched free. The promise shatters the hold on the dark memories etched on my mind. Ether, energy source, shimmers. Light new begins. The city stretches to save. My heart hangs. My world and head, my emotions. The city lights. Lyrien turns the text, Kaida, to the S says, "To I be," and the he. Previously, as Alex and his companions emerged from the Undercroft, they stood at the threshold of Aetheria, bathed in its radiant glow, which soothed the dark memories of their harrowing escape. With a spark of optimism kindling, they began to explore the city, their emotional scars still evident but tempered by the promise of a new era. Lyrien and Kaida immediately set to work deciphering ancient texts, unlocking the secrets of the subterranean dialect. As I stood there, the luminescence of Aetheria washing over me, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders, like the first breath of air after being underwater too long. Lyrian's eyes sparkled with excitement as he turned to me, the text illuminated on his pad. "Alex, I think we're on the cusp of something here. This dialect, it's not just a language, it's a key to understanding Aether itself." Kaida, ever the pragmatist, looked up from her own research, her eyes squinting slightly as she took in the sprawling cityscape. "If we're right, this could lead us to the source of Aether. But we need to be careful, we're not the only ones searching for this." Her words hung in the air like a challenge, and I felt a surge of determination course through my veins. We had come so far, and now we had a chance to make a real difference. I turned to Lyrien, my mind racing with possibilities. "What do you think we can learn from this dialect?" Lyrian's eyes lit up as he began to explain, his words spilling out in a torrent of excitement. The subterranean dialect is more than just a language. It's a map, a guide to understanding the underlying structure of Aether. If we can crack the code, we could unlock the secrets of Aetheria itself. As he spoke, Kaida began to work her magic, her fingers flying across her pad as she cross-referenced the ancient texts with her own knowledge of the city's hidden systems. I watched, mesmerized, as the pieces began to fall into place. The city itself seemed to be awakening around us, the buildings and streets coming alive with a soft, pulsing glow. It was as if Aetheria was responding to our presence, welcoming us to its secrets. As we worked, a figure emerged from the crowd, a young woman with a messy bob of dark hair and a pair of goggles perched on her forehead. She eyed us with a mixture of curiosity and wariness, her gaze lingering on the ancient texts. "Can I help?" she asked, her voice husky and confident. Lyrien and Kaida exchanged a look, and I nodded, sensing a new ally. "We're trying to understand the subterranean dialect," Lyrien explained. "We're not sure what we're looking for, but we think it might hold the key to Aetheria's secrets." The woman's eyes lit up, and she smiled, a mischievous glint in her eye. "I'm Arin, by the way. I'm an engineer. I think I might be able to help you decode this." As Arin joined our little group, I felt a sense of hope rising, like a beacon in the darkness. We were in this together now, a team of misfits and experts united in our quest to unlock the secrets of Aetheria. But as we worked, the city itself seemed to be growing darker, the shadows deepening and twisting. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched, that there were those who would stop at nothing to claim Aetheria's secrets for themselves. The stakes were escalating, and I knew that we had to move fast. We were on the cusp of something big, something that could change the course of Aetheria's future. And I was determined to see it through. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the city, we made a breakthrough. The subterranean dialect began to make sense, the words and symbols clicking into place like a puzzle. But as we celebrated, a new question emerged, a looming danger that threatened to upend everything. What lay at the heart of Aetheria, and who would stop at nothing to claim it? The city seemed to be holding its breath, the very air vibrating with anticipation. I knew that we had to be careful, that the road ahead would be fraught with danger. But I also knew that we were in this together, a team of heroes bound by our determination and our hope for a brighter future. And with that knowledge, I felt a sense of courage rising, a sense of conviction that would carry us through the trials to come. As the Aetherian glow deepened around us, the city itself seemed to come alive, the buildings and buildings on streets pulsing with a soft light. The air was filled with the sound of whispers, the sound like a low waves, constant, hopeful. The investigation team exchanged a look, Kaida's eyes on the flickering symbols, and on her face a newfound sense of hope. The stakes in her and the city were high, and she spoke. Previously, Kaida's voice trembled with emotion as she spoke, her words barely audible over the gentle hum of the Aetherian glow, as if the city itself was holding its breath in anticipation of what was to come. The team's eyes locked onto hers, their faces reflecting a mix of trepidation and hope, sensing that she was on the cusp of unraveling a long-held mystery. And with the whispers of the city growing louder, as if urging her on, Kaida's revelation seemed poised to shatter the fragile calm, plunging them into a maelstrom of consequences. As she began to speak, her voice wove a spell of wonder, transporting them to a realm where the ancient language of the subterranean dialect seemed to hold the very fabric of Aetheria together. "I think I've deciphered the message," she said, her eyes sparkling with a mix of awe and trepidation. "The symbols, they're not just a warning or a map, they're a key." The team leaned in, their faces bathed in the soft, ethereal light as Kaida's words hung in the air like a promise. Lyrian's hands moved with a life of their own, weaving intricate patterns in the air as he began to translate the symbols, his brow furrowed in concentration. Alex felt a shiver run down his spine as he realized that they were on the cusp of unlocking a secret that could change the course of their journey, and perhaps the fate of Aetheria itself. As Kaida continued to speak, her words spilled out in a torrent of excitement, each one building upon the last like a crescendo of hope. The Aether, it's not just an energy source, it's a gateway to a new world, a new era. The team's eyes met, their faces reflecting a mix of wonder and fear as they contemplated the implications of her words. The city seemed to be holding its breath, the whispers growing louder, more urgent, as if the very fabric of reality was about to tear apart. And then, in the midst of the silence, a figure emerged from the shadows. Arin, the brilliant engineer, stood before them, a look of quiet determination etched on her face. "I've been watching you," she said, her voice low and measured. "I've been waiting for you. I have a feeling that we're about to embark on a journey that will change us all, and perhaps the course of history itself." As Arin spoke, the city seemed to come alive around them, the buildings pulsing with an intense golden light. The air was filled with an electric sense of possibility, a sense that they were on the cusp of something momentous. And Alex, sensing the weight of their journey, felt a surge of determination course through his veins. Together, they would unlock the secrets of Aetheria and in doing so, forge a new future, one that would be marked by hope, courage, and the unyielding light of possibility. But as they stood there, bathed in the golden glow of the city, a faint hum began to build in the distance, a hum that seemed to be growing louder by the second. The team exchanged a nervous glance, their faces reflecting a mix of excitement and trepidation. What was coming for them, and would they be ready? Previously, Kaida's revelation about the subterranean dialect had left the team on the brink of a groundbreaking discovery, poised to unlock the secrets of Aetheria. With Lyrian's linguistic expertise and the team's collective anticipation, they stood at the threshold of a new understanding, and as the city itself seemed to hold its breath, a mysterious hum began to build in the distance. The hum grew louder, vibrating through the air like a living thing, and Alex felt the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. Arin's eyes narrowed, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "That doesn't sound natural," she said, her voice tight with concern. The team exchanged worried glances, their excitement giving way to unease. As they stood there, frozen in anticipation, the hum began to take on a rhythmic quality, like the pulsing beat of a drum. The city's golden light seemed to be responding to the hum, intensifying into a brilliant, blinding glow. Lyrien raised a hand, shielding his eyes. "What's happening?" he asked, his voice muffled. Kaida's eyes were fixed on the symbol etched into the wall, her brow furrowed in concentration. "I think it's a response," she said, her voice barely audible over the growing din. "The city is reacting to our presence or to the deciphered message." The team's eyes met, their faces reflecting a mix of awe and fear as they contemplated the implications of her words. The hum reached a crescendo, and then, in an instant, it stopped. The silence was oppressive, heavy with anticipation, and then a figure emerged from the heart of the city. A woman, tall and stately, with skin like polished marble and hair like spun gold. She moved with a quiet confidence, her eyes fixed on the team. "Greetings, travelers," she said, her voice like music. "I am Ambassador Elara. I have been sent to welcome you to Aetheria and to guide you on your journey." As she spoke, the city's golden light seemed to coalesce around her, forming a halo of radiance. The team's eyes met, their faces reflecting a mix of wonder and wariness. Who was this enigmatic ambassador, and what did she have in store for them? Arin stepped forward, her eyes locked on Elara's. "We've been expecting a guide," she said, her voice firm, "but we're not sure what we're getting ourselves into." Elara's smile was like a sunrise. "You are about to embark on a journey that will change you all," she said. "A journey that will take you to the heart of Aetheria, and perhaps beyond." As she spoke, the city seemed to come alive around them, the buildings pulsing with an intense golden light. The air was filled with an electric sense of possibility, a sense that they were on the cusp of something momentous. And Alex, sensing the weight of their journey, felt a surge of determination course through his veins. Together, they would unlock the secrets of Aetheria, and in doing so, forge a new future, one that would be marked by hope, courage, and the unyielding light of possibility. As they followed Elara through the winding streets of Aetheria, the team encountered strange and wondrous sights. They saw buildings that seemed to defy gravity, their foundations rooted in mid-air. They saw creatures that shimmered like living light, their forms blurring and shifting as they moved. And they saw the Aether, a glowing, crystalline substance that seemed to pulse with an inner light. It was beautiful, mesmerizing, and terrifying. For as they gazed upon the Aether, they realized that it was not just an energy source, but a gateway to a new world, a new era. The team's eyes met, their faces reflecting a mix of awe and trepidation. What lay beyond the gateway, and would they be brave enough to take the first step? As they walked, the city seemed to be unfolding before them, revealing secrets and wonders at every turn. And Alex, sensing the weight of their journey, felt a sense of growth, of transformation. He was no longer just a survivor, struggling to stay alive. He was a leader, a guide, and he was determined to see his team through to the end of their journey, no matter what dangers lay ahead. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the city, Elara led them to a great crystal palace. The palace pulsed with an inner light, a light that seemed to be calling to them. "This is the heart of Aetheria," Ilara said, her voice like music. "Here, you will find the secrets of the Aether and, perhaps, the secrets of your own destiny." The team's eyes met, their faces reflecting a mix of excitement and trepidation. What lay ahead, and would they be brave enough to face it? As they stepped forward into the heart of the palace, they knew that their journey was far from over. But they also knew that they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, armed with hope, courage, and the unyielding light of possibility. Previously, as Ambassador Ilara led them through the winding streets of Aetheria, the team had encountered strange and wondrous sights. They had seen buildings that seemed to defy gravity and creatures that shimmered like living light, and they had been introduced to the Aether, a glowing, crystalline substance that seemed to pulse with an inner light. With Ilara's guidance, they had reached the heart of Aetheria, a great crystal palace that pulsed with an inner light, and as they stood before it, they felt a sense of excitement and trepidation, unsure of what lay ahead. And then, Ilara had revealed to them that the palace held the secrets of the Aether, and perhaps the secrets of their own destiny. As they entered the palace, Alex felt a sense of awe wash over him. The interior was breathtakingly beautiful, with crystal formations that refracted and reflected the light in dazzling patterns. Ilara led them to a large crystal chamber deep within the palace, where a group of Aetherians were gathered around a glowing crystal console. "These are the keepers of the Aether," Ilara said, her voice filled with reverence. "They have protected and studied the Aether for centuries, and they will be able to share their knowledge with you." The keepers turned to face them, their eyes filled with a deep wisdom. One of them, an elderly woman with a kind face, stepped forward. "Greetings, travelers," she said. "We have been expecting you. We sense that you have come to unlock the secrets of the Aether, and we are willing to share our knowledge with you." As the keepers began to explain the nature of the Aether, Alex felt a sense of wonder growing within him. He had always thought of the Aether as a simple energy source, but now he was beginning to realize that it was so much more. It was a gateway to a new world, a new era, and it held the key to unlocking the secrets of the universe. But as they listened to the keepers, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The keepers seemed to be holding back, as if they were afraid of revealing too much, and Ilara seemed to be watching them with an intensity that made him feel uneasy. Suddenly, one of the keepers spoke up, her voice filled with a sense of urgency. "There is something we must tell you," she said, "something that could change everything. The Aether is not just an energy source, it is a beacon, a call to the rest of the universe, and there are those who would seek to use it for their own purposes." The team's eyes met, their faces reflecting a mix of concern and alarm. What did the keeper mean, and who were these people who would seek to use the Aether for their own purposes? As they pressed the keeper for more information, Ilara's expression grew increasingly tense. "I'm afraid we don't have much time for this," she said. "There are those who would seek to stop us, to prevent us from unlocking the secrets of the Aether. We must be careful, for we are not the only ones who are searching for the truth." The team's eyes met, their faces reflecting a mix of determination and fear. They knew that they had to be careful, but they also knew that they couldn't turn back now. They had come too far, and they had seen too much. As they prepared to leave the palace, Alex felt a sense of growth, of transformation. He was no longer just a survivor, struggling to stay alive. He was a leader, a guide, and he was determined to see his team through to the end of their journey, no matter what dangers lay ahead. The team followed Ilara out of the palace, back into the winding streets of Aetheria. As they walked, the city seemed to be unfolding before them, revealing secrets and wonders at every turn. And Alex, sensing the weight of their journey, felt a sense of hope, of possibility. They were on the cusp of something momentous, something that would change the course of their lives forever. But as they walked, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. He glanced around, but saw nothing. Still, the feeling persisted. And then, suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows. a tall, imposing figure with eyes that seemed to bore into Alex's soul. "Welcome, Alex," the figure said, its voice low and menacing. "I've been waiting for you. My name is Cassius, and I have a proposition for you. Are you interested?" The team's eyes met, their faces reflecting a mix of concern and alarm. Who was Cassius, and what did he want? As Alex hesitated, unsure of what to do, he felt a sense of trepidation. He knew that he had to be careful, for he was not sure what lay ahead. But he also knew that he couldn't turn back now. He had to see this through, no matter what. With a sense of determination, Alex nodded. "I'm listening," he said. And with that, the team's journey took a dramatic turn, one that would lead them down a path of discovery and danger, of wonder and uncertainty. But as they walked, Alex felt a sense of hope, of possibility. They were on the cusp of something momentous, something that would change the course of their lives forever.